Oh, sir.
Okay, very good morning to everyone. Today we will discuss budgetary control, second unit of cost and works accounting special paper 3. Today I am going to cover the two different points. One is procedure of budgetary control and second point is essentials of budgetary control. Dear students, when control through budget is desired, the budgetary control organization has to be very busy and alert with the following pre-requirements for finalizing the effective budgetary control. And the first step in budgetary control is establishment of the budget centers. Now, what do you mean by budget center? A budget center is a section of the organization of an undertaking defined for the purpose of budgetary control. Budgetary central should be clearly defined and established, for each of which a budget will be set with the help of head of the concerned departments, for example, labor budget, production cost budget, etc. And the accountant in conjunction with the production manager and other executives, they will establish the budget center. So budget center is one of the component of the organization who is responsible for preparation of the budgets. Therefore, whenever we wish to have the budgetary control in our organization, first step is we should establish a budget center in the company. It may be a production center, maybe a cost center, labor budget. So all these departments, they will submit their budgetary requirement to that particular budget center, and therefore every organization has to create its budget center in the organization for the effective control of the budgets. Second step in the budgetary control is we should prepare an organizational chart. Now you might have been studied this particular organizational chart in the business management at the SY BCom. An organizational chart, when it is properly drafted, this will show you the functional responsibilities of each members of the management. And organizational chart will also ensure that to know the position may have to be adjusted to ensure that each center is controlled by the appropriate member of the staff. For example, in an organization, there is a chief executive officer and below him, there is one budget officer. Now, budget officer will be from the personnel manager, purchase manager, production manager, functional manager, and sales manager. And personnel manager will head as well as human resource budget. Purchase manager will prepare the purchase budget. Production manager will prepare material budget, production budget, plant utilization budget. Financial manager, he will prepare the financial budget, capital expenditure budget, production cost budget, administrative cost budget, master budget. Sales manager will prepare sales budget, advertisement budget, selling and distribution budget. It means that once the budget is created in an organization, second step is we should prepare an organizational chart. This organizational chart will help to understand the persons to whom you are reporting and the person one who is responsible for the preparation of the concerned budget. So control can be easily understood, and simultaneously you will also know who is responsible for making the budget of the concerned department. So this is the second process in the budgetary control. After this, the third step where we are going to do is we will prepare an adequate accounting records. The most important step in the budgetary control is to prepare the adequate accounting records. So it is essential for the accounting system that it should be able to record and analyze the transactions which involve account code, and therefore every accounting personnel he should maintain the account code which may be linked with the budget centers for establishment of budget, and finally control through the budget can be possible. Now what I am trying to say is, once you keep the proper accounting records, then this accounting record will be useful for preparation of the budget. If you don't have the proper accounting records with you, for example, how much is the source of funds that you are having, as well as how much amount of expenditure that you are going to do, then this will be available in the accounting department. Therefore, proper accounting records should be made. So with the help of these records, we are able to prepare the budget. The next step in the budgetary control is formation of the budget committee. In a small companies, a budget officer, he establishes a budget and coordinates all the work related with the budgetary committee. But in the big organizations, a budget committee will be formed, and this budget committee consists of chief executive officer, budget officer, head of the departments and the budget centers, and with the help of all of them, the budget committee will be established. The main function of these budget committees are: number one, to accept the scrutinies of all the budget. Second is to decide the overall policy to be followed. Third function is to suggest revisional budget wherever it is necessary, approve finally revised budgets, as well as receive and deal with the budgets, and comparison or comparative statement should be prepared. And last function of this budget committee is to recommend action to be taken under the different situations. So formation of budget committee means nothing but, in big organizations, budget officer, chief executive officer, all head of the departments, they all will come together and one committee will be prepared, and that committee will be called as an budget committee. The functions of this budget committee consist of accepting the budget from all the department, scrutinizing the budget, deciding which policy should be followed. Then in case of any suggestions are there in the budget, then we should suggest the suggestions in the preparation of budget. Finally, approval of all the budgets of the all concerned department. And in case when we receive all the budgets of the concerned department, we should make a comparative chart. And finally, in case of different situations, what actions should be taken, and all these actions are being taken by the budget committee. Therefore, formation of budget committee is one of the procedure for budgetary control. After that, we are supposed to prepare the budget manual. Manual means nothing but this is a booklet of, like, handbook of all the guidelines and the policy procedures. The Institute of Cost and Management Accountant London defines budget manual means a document which set out the responsibilities of the persons engaged in routine of and forms and records required for the budgetary control. It means with the help of this budgetary manual, it will help us to know the responsibilities of the person, one who are engaged in the routine work of the budgets, as well as one who is responsible for maintaining the records and the budgetary control. So for all of these persons, for example, this budget manual will help the budget committee member to take the decision and to work accordingly, and to assign the responsibilities to the individual members of the budget committee. After the budget manual is prepared, we should fix the budget period. It means budget should be of specific period. For example, what we say, 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, or yearly, or 10 years, or maybe for long-term terms. The fixation of the budget period is important because budget is prepared for a specific period by definition, and therefore budget period is the time for which budget is prepared and it is employed, except in case of capital expenditure budget. Capital expenditure budget means the expenses which are incurred on purchase of the fixed asset, so that budget is known as an capital expenditure budget. The budget period is generally the accounting year, and basically it is subdivided into 4 quarters or 12 months. So depending upon the requirement of the organization, budget period will be fixed. And after that, determination of the governing factors. There are certain factors or principal budgeting factors that are called as governing factors. They influence the budget and the functions of the budget. Therefore, the key factors which are responsible for preparation of the budget, generally sales is the key factor while preparing the budget. Therefore, other factors of production, for example, main, material, machine, capital, all these factors should be taken into account. Therefore, when you prepare the budget, the determination of governing means key factor, the most important factor, because see, whatever we prepare budget, all budgets are directed towards the maximization of sales. As the sales increases, profit will be automatically increase, and therefore the determining or the governing factor should be taken into account while preparing the budget. Once all these things are over, your budgetary control procedure is over. Now, there are some things which are essential for the budgetary control. Anybody is having any doubt regarding the procedure of budgetary control, you may please ask the question, or shall I continue?
Continue.
Okay. Essentials of budgetary control. Essential things are required for budgetary control. Without these things, budgetary control cannot be possible. The most effective and successful implementation of the budgetary control system is totally dependent on some important features, and these features are called as essential elements of budgetary control. First one is sound organization. Sound means good. A good organization is necessary to carry out plans and policies of the management. If the organizational structure should be in such a way that each one know what the management expect from him and also his responsibility. There are so many data regarding the expectations of the management and what is their responsibilities. Sound organization means an organization where every employee of the organization, he knows the expectations of the management. What case of essentials of budgetary control. Second point that we require is cost factor. The cost benefit analysis, it should be made before the budget is introduced or prepared. It means that the cost of operation of the budget should be less than the benefits derived out of it. For every budgetary control system, whatever the output will be derived from this budgetary control, it should be such a that benefit should be greater than the cost of the budget. It means we are creating a budgetary control system in the organization, and for creation of this budgetary control system in the company, its cost should be less than the benefits derived out of. Example, the should develop the interpersonal relationship, which means that the management should be able to know the personal difficulties of the executives and managers in implementing the budget. This will ensure that the budget is not imposed on anyone without studying his ability to undertake the responsibilities. Such an interesting point it is. Interpersonal relationship. Whenever management is saying we want to maximize our profit or wealth, so when you are preparing budget and you are imposing that budget to the individual concern, you should take into account the practical difficulties of that concern person. Once you understand the practical difficulties and if you give the solution for this, then it will be very easy for the company to undertake the budgetary control procedure, because depending upon the ability we have given the responsibilities to the concerned person. So this will help to improve the interpersonal relationship. Fourth point in the essentials of budgetary control is systematic accounting system. In every organization, it is necessary that management can hold the concerned person responsible in the organization in terms of monetary transactions. It means in every organization, monetary transactions should be handled by the concerned person, one who is having the accounting knowledge. Therefore, this is an essentials of budgetary control. The fifth point is high profits. The main aim of management is to earn maximum profits, and this factor should be kept in mind while preparing the budget, because budgets are directed towards the maximization of profits only. Goals should be achievable. Whatever the goal that you are deciding with the help of budget, that goal should be achievable. The management should fix goal in such a way that it should be attainable. Otherwise, there will be confusion in the organization. For example, if management is saying next 10 years we are going to be number one in the market, this is a goal. Management is saying in the next 10 years we are going to make a sales of 100 crores in the market, then this should be achievable. A goal which is not achievable cannot be decided by the management, otherwise the budgetary control will be of no use. Next is constant review. In every budgetary control system, review should be every time taken. Therefore, performance should be made evaluated with the actual results as compared to the budgeted. So the corrective actions can be taken at the right time. Constant review means whenever somebody is working in an organization in the budgetary control system, constantly what was decided in the budget and what was actually happened, it should be continuously evaluated, and if anything goes wrong, then we should do and corrective actions within the time so that the budgetary control can be possible. So first point we have seen is there. Next point in the essentials of budgetary control is fixing the responsibilities and preparation of budget. Review is being, after the review is being taken, it should be noted that person one who will execute the budget should be made responsible for preparation of it. Very simple thing. If I am preparing the budget of my department, I will be held responsible for the whatever budget I have given. If my budget is going to be unutilized, then I will be held responsible for this. If my budget is going to be understated, I will be held responsible.
सर वॉइस ब्रेक होतोय तुमचा.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Shall I continue?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Budget committee. In every organization, to carry out the plans and policies, budget committee is important, because this budget executives of the various departments, and these executives will be held responsible for actual implementation of the budget. Therefore, budget committee should be there in the budgetary control. And last point is involvement of the top management. In any organization where top management is involved in any activity, this activity is 101% going to give you the best results out of it. Therefore, unless the top management cooperates in implementation of the budget, in true spirit, The budgetary control system cannot be useful or successful. It means that